Hey guys, welcome back to the channel again. This is video 3 of a 3-part series for the 2020 Ram 1500 Limited. Breaking it into 3 videos just because it's a massive truck with so much content. I didn't want to bore you guys to death with a 25-minute or a 30-minute video. So hopefully you made it to this video and all the way from video 1 to 2 to 3. If you missed the first 2, they're in the description down below of this video. But this one's going to be the driving portion, the I would say the most exciting part of the vehicle, but maybe because I'm in it versus looking at it. So come along with me. Without further ado, let's drive the Ram 1500 Limited, see what all the hype is about, and see how good this thing performs and drives on and off the road. Oof. So very easily we can, pop the vehicle into reverse, neutral drive just with this little dial down here, and then instantly you're gonna have your backup camera that comes up and you have the top down view, the rear view, and it kind of gives you the dynamic guideline to see where you're going. If you have a trailer, you can actually hit that button and see exactly where your trailer is. And you can individually turn off the parking sensor. So if you have a trailer behind you and you're towing it, you put the vehicle into reverse, you're not going to trick the truck into thinking that you're going to hit something. You'll notice above me we have the panoramic sunroof. Now that is all power, and you have the power window behind me as well. So if we just hit this button right here, you can close this whole panoramic roof up, but I'm going to keep that open just for light because it's kind of getting dark out. And right next to that you have the power window in the back. Now you can open that or close it. We'll make sure we keep that closed. Right up in front of me, you have all of the SOS buttons and then the auto dimming mirror, which you can also control from the screen right here. Now, let's talk about the ride height. So I am a little bit off-road right now. I'm making my way from this little dirt trail where I filmed this whole video series onto the main road. But if you hit the toggle, we can adjust the height. And you can also do it kind of while you're driving at low speeds. So I was in off-road 1, don't need to be in off-road 2, I'm not doing anything crazy, but we're lowering into aerodynamic, or actually normal mode, and then past that is aerodynamic mode, and then below that is the entering and exiting the vehicle mode. So as we're entering the main road here, the 5.7 liter V8 accelerates obviously very easily, but the biggest thing that I noticed right away is not only do you have great visibility, but you have a very quiet ride. So for such a big truck and such a big engine, you might think that it'd be a loud vehicle. And I just want to point out that I just made a U-turn in this massive truck and didn't hit the curb or have to make a K-turn. So that's impressive in itself. And I'm gonna lower this down a couple more times till we get to the aerodynamic mode, just to get that optimal ride height and feel for the vehicle. So the seats are very, very comfortable. I mean, you have these very wide seats, they're leather wrapped, the bolsters are nice, you have these big mirrors, you can see everything around you. Now this truck is almost $70,000, so it should be comfortable and it should be powerful enough, and it should have all of the technology that it has. I mean, if I'm spending that much money on a truck, and I would think that anybody else that's spending that much money on a truck, you would want basically a computer screen in it, because yes, you can tow anything with any truck really nowadays. And if it's not a 2500 or a 3500 or a larger truck or diesel for that matter, spending 70 grand, you're going to want to get the best of the best, and you're definitely getting that in this new 2020 Ram without a doubt. So we're making our way onto the entrance ramp of the highway. Now again, as I'm taking a turn there and accelerating and decelerating, there's really no body roll. Again, I keep saying for such a big vehicle, I mean, it's a big truck. Yes, it's a 1500. Yes, it's just a normal full-size truck. It's nothing bigger than that, but you don't feel like you're in a big truck. And sometimes you get into a truck and you're like, man, this thing is just huge. You feel like you're high off the ground. Not only can you adjust the different heights of the steering wheel, but you can also adjust the ride height of the vehicle. So now that we are up to 95 kilometers, so whoever was in this vehicle last changed it to kilometers. So let me change that back to miles per hour without doing the math so I can tell you how fast I'm going. I know it sounds kind of silly, but I've reviewed some BMWs and some Mercedes recently on the channel, and the first thought that came to my mind when jumping in this truck, I almost said car, is that it feels like a luxury car. It feels like a luxury SUV and car, and that's as far as the ride goes, the comfort, the quality, the technology inside. So it's important to note, and if you're near a Ram dealer or in the market, I would highly recommend looking at one just for all of those features. All right, now we are up to 70 miles an hour because that is the speed limit. And you'll notice, again, still a quiet ride, a smooth ride. The truck isn't, floating all over the road. The steering wheel feels really solid in my hands. And again, the visibility is great. Now you do have the auto engine on off. I always like to disable that only because it's a little bit annoying at the stoplights and I don't like my vehicle turning on and off, but it does save you gas mileage. And you have down below the 4-wheel drive and 2-wheel drive. So the 4-wheel drive, you can actually put it in automatic, or you can put it in 4-wheel high or low and have that designated setting. And then you can also put it in 2-wheel drive. Now again, I love the screen here. I know I pointed that out in the interior video, but you have this screen where you can control everything. You have your navigation, your climate. I mean, it's as big as a Tesla screen, but in a truck. So I never thought I'd see the technology that we're seeing in these newer vehicles, but Ram really hit it out of the park with the screen and the user experience. You can have a big screen, but if it has a terrible touch screen and a bad user experience, then that just kills the whole thing. And they definitely, again, knocked it out of the park with the usability of the actual screen in the truck. Back, and then you can put 2 car seats back there. You can put 2 people and a car seat. You could probably put 3 car seats if you want to, full-size car seats, because yes, the back is that big. And then of course the back comes up and you can store stuff underneath. Now the 5.7 liter engine, there's no shortage of power. Even if I floor it, it really just does everything it has to. It doesn't feel like it's too powerful, like it's gonna get away from you, but it's enough to tow a lot. Oof. If you can hear that, just accelerating off the ramp right there, I mean, the truck just gets up and goes very quickly, has a lot of power. I mean, you can tell if you're towing something, you're gonna have no problem. And then you have that brings me to the trailer braking. So you have this electronic trigger right here, right down below the touchscreen, where you can light electric trailer brake and you can really feel the difference. And then right next to that, you're going to have the gain. So you can actually adjust with the plus and minus buttons the gain depending on what you're towing and where you're towing it. And right in front of you in the screen, you're gonna have the different adjustments for what you wanna see. So you have your tire pressure, and that's to the individual tire, and it's digital, so you can see it's 40, 42, 40, 42, whatever the PSI is. And then you have your speedometer. Now you can have the electric speedometer there, or look at the analog one right there. And then of course your screen setup, your messages, depending on if you have stored messages or anything coming from your phone from the screen, and then your music as well, so you can see what you're listening to and change it from there. And then you have not only do you have the miles of the vehicle, but you also can see the engine hours. So if somebody's using this for construction or not just commuting back and forth to work, and you're looking at it down the road as a used vehicle, that's actually really important because you can see how heavily the vehicle is used and not just how far and long it was driven, which may not pertain to somebody who's buying it from somebody who may have used it for other things like construction or going to Home Depot or whatever, or at job sites. Another really cool feature on the steering wheel that I noticed is that you have, of course, your volume controls and all the standard stuff that you would normally have, but with this being a nice truck with the power to tow big things, and then you have the electronic trailer brake right down there, you have the gear limit and the gear selector right on the steering wheel, so you can change which gear you're in with the click of a button on the steering wheel, which is it's really nice. It may seem like a little thing, but it's convenient to have when you're trying to deal with towing something and everything else that's going on in the truck. And another fun technology feature is the rain sensing wipers. So you have those that will come on automatically. Then you can also set the distance for the semi-autonomous features. So if you're going to crash into somebody in front of you, you can set the distance that the truck is going to pick that vehicle up with its sensors. All right, that's going to do it for video number 3 of the 3-part series, driving the Ram 1500 Limited, the 2020, of course. Videos 1 and 2 are linked in the description down below. That's the exterior and interior. And go ahead and give a thumbs up if you enjoy the series, or even one video just individually. And go ahead and leave a comment down below on what was your favorite feature throughout this video or the last one, and what you think they should keep or change with this RAM and models in the future moving forward. But thanks again for checking out the new video series on the 2020 Ram 1500 Limited, and we'll see you on the next video and the next video series. I'm Philip with Geared Towards Automotive.